Tammy Bruce is with us, Fox News political contributor, independent Women's Voice president. John Burnett, New York GOP strategic advisor, One Empire Group founder and their CEO. Vince Coglianese is with us as well, Daily Caller editorial director. And Gina Loudon, political analyst, advisory board member of Donald J. Trump for president. Michael Barnes is with us as well. He's a former George W. Bush policy advisor. Gina, what should we expect tonight from President Trump at this Montana speech?
Well, as you know, Charles, just a couple weeks ago, I had the honor and privilege of being backstage with him as he, like a prize fighter, kind of got ready for the rally. It's really a wonderful thing to see because this is where he gets his energy from the people. So he's going to speak right to his base. He's going to assure them. I imagine a lot of the topics you are touching on your show in your opening will be some of the things he touches on. Of course, China, the economy, perhaps North Korea. And I think that he's going to want to reassure his base and in his own very Donald Trump way to thank them for standing strong despite them being terrorized, harassed, followed, trolled by leaders and media on the left.
You know, Tammy, you know, a lot going on today. And all of these things going on, and against all of these things going on, we saw a stock market that closed at the high of the session, ahead of the first, the policy, the saber rattling becomes policy in a few hours. $34 billion to be followed by $16 billion. President Trump just now saying, hey, it could be followed by $200 billion and then $300 billion. So the battle is joined with respect to that, and the stock market seemed okay with it today.
Well, wouldn't you say, though, that this perhaps is already baked in? That we did see some lowering of the market. You saw some activity. People got very nervous when the tariffs were first discussed. And then, even though $50 billion for regular people is a lot of money, the fact is that in consideration of China, it's really kind of an opening chip. And I think it's a matter of the edge that Donald Trump wants. And, of course, the bigger numbers of $100 billion, $200 billion. But I think that this is a market and a nation that is now used to the president's negotiating style. I think the reaction to these particular tariffs are already baked in, as we've seen previously. And perhaps the market is also, as is the nation as a whole, appreciating the president's approach and trusting him more on these issues as well.
John, one thing you won't hear anywhere else except from me, because I love this kind of stuff. Truck orders, those numbers came in for last month. Over 40,000 again. We are on a blistering pace. We've never seen this many Class 8 commercial trucks ordered. What does that mean? I tell people, think about it this way. Every time you go to a hospital, every time you see the doctor, what's the one thing they always do? They check your pulse. This is the pulse of the American economy. They've got an index called the Market Demand Index. It's at 77. All you need to know is at 22 when Trump took office, up over 200%. This is amazing stuff that you will never hear anywhere else. It underscores the fact that our economy is on fire. So on one hand, we're dealing with a sizzling economy and then the unknowns of the trade war.
Absolutely. This is what winning looks like. And what the president will tell tonight, the American grit is back. The American citizen is actually finally on the job interview line and not the unemployment line. Numbers are up across the board. As Tammy mentioned, the optimism is already built into the market, right? So as we actually get more people employed, work out, the trade agreements throughout the world, the American production, the American jobs, everything will be back, and it'll mean a second term for the president.
Michael, what do you want to hear from the president tonight?
Well, I think the first thing that we expect is he's going to go after Jon Tester. I think he's got a bone to pick with him because he took down the nominee for VA secretary. But beyond that, I think that the president might also encourage this very rural audience to be patient and to recognize that this is a negotiating strategy and that the U.S. will come out better off. This is being a heavy agriculture state in Montana. But I agree with my colleagues that if you look at manufacturing numbers, if you look at the agriculture numbers, small businesses, they've 31% of small businesses increased wages last month, and they expect to do so again this month. The economy is very impressive, and I think it's leading to more people getting training and education, more people coming into the workforce. There's a lot to talk about economically.
Every single one of I agree with you completely. When you see that shot of those people waiting for that rally, those individuals already have felt the benefit of the president's policies. They do have some questions about what might happen with the tariffs, but they're going to trust him. This is the president with his finger on the pulse of the country and of his voters.